Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Veronica, known as Data Geek, and today I want to go over how to handle missing values in Python like a pro, all inside Jupyter Notebook. We're diving into real-world techniques using Pandas and Plotly to clean up messy datasets, step by step. So if you're ready to level up your data skills, make sure to hit that like button and please consider to subscribe to my channel for more helpful tutorials on how to use Python for data analytics. So grab a cup of coffee and let's begin this tutorial. So here I am in Jupyter Notebook. Also, I use Anaconda to use Jupyter Notebook, and if you want to download Anaconda, I will link that video in the description below on how to download Anaconda to use Jupyter Notebook. So once you have uploaded your CSV file by simply clicking upload and then selecting your file location, you can then start coding and exporting your data set into Python. So this data set, Disney customers, the CSV file is what I'm going to use. So if I double click on that, it will open up my data set. So as you can see, it says customer ID, name, age, email, the country, and purchase amount. So this is just a sample data set. As you can see, there's no real names for the emails. Also, the names all have like Disney characters. So this is just something I created for us to use for this tutorial. Going back to my file location on my Jupyter Notebook, so I have already uploaded this CSV file. Now I can go ahead and create a new workbook. So I will click on New, then Python 3. Now a new workbook will now be present, so I can go ahead and start coding. So step 1, I want to import my libraries and load my dataset. Now I will put this as Markdown, so I click up here where it says Code and change it to Markdown. And I will put a number sign in front of that, and I will run my code. Okay, so the reason why I put a number sign is because it puts larger text. So the more number signs you put, the smaller the text it will become. Like for example, if I put 4 number signs and hit play, the text is lower. But in this case, I want it to be larger, so I just put 1 number sign and run my code. So the next I'm going to go ahead and import pandas as PD and import numpy as NP. So this right here, the import pandas. Pandas is a powerful library used for data manipulation and analysis. It's ideal for reading, cleaning, analyzing, and visualizing data. Now NumPy is short for numerical Python and is used for numerical computations and working with arrays. It provides support for large multi-dimensional arrays and wide varieties of mathematical operations like the mean, standard deviation, matrix, etc. So now I will go ahead and run the code for loading the dataset. And I will use this as a markdown, and I will run that code. And to do that, I want to do the file path underscore path. This is what I'm calling it. And then it's going to equal to, and this is the data set that I am uploading into Jupyter Notebook. So if I go back to my file that I opened up the first time when I showed you, so customer ID, name, age, email. So up here it has the name. So if I click up here where it says Disney underscore customers.csv, if I click on that, it gives me the name of the file. So if I highlight it and do a Control-C on my Windows keypad to copy, then if I go back to my code and do a Control-V, that will be the name of my CSV file. Next, I put data, which this is the name of my data set. So you can call it DF, you can call it data set, you can call it whatever you'd like, but in this case, I'm going to call it data. and I'm going to write the Python code to read this data set. So it's pd.read underscore CSV and then file underscore path. So it's grabbing this name here in here, which is basically this name. So it's reading this file. So now I run that code and it gave me a number sign again, so it ran successfully. Now, next I want to preview the data. So I'm going to go ahead and do a markdown and run that. And I want to do it by reviewing the first part of my data set. So it's going to be data, which is what we called it here, dot head, open and close parentheses, and I will run that. So now you can see that this is my data set. Again, this is customer ID, name, age, email, country, and purchase amount. So again, we use Pandas to load the data set. So that's what the library up here is. Pandas helps us load this data set. That contains missing values in various columns like age, email, country, and purchase amount. So again, these are our columns, which we call variables. So now that we imported our libraries and uploaded our CSV file and looked at the head of our data, now we will go ahead and check for missing values. So step 2, check for missing values. And again, I want to use that as a markdown, and it's going to be larger text, so it's going to be a number sign, and run. I will use data.isNull, open and close parentheses, and run that. So with us running that code, you can see that there are false and true. So this here, data.isNull, this function checks each cell in your data set and returns rather a true, meaning if the value is missing, it's NaN or none, and false if the value is not missing. So as you can see, value is not missing here in email. There's a true in age, so that means there's no value. It's rather NaN or none. So there are missing values in the data set. So it shows how many rows you have, 300 rows and 6 columns. So that's good to know. So next we'll use a count to show how many missing values there are in each column. So with the note, count missing values in each column. And that I'm going to use data dot is null, same thing, but this time we want to put dot sum, open and close parentheses, and run that code. Now it gives us the sum of each value that's missing in each column. So as you can see, age column has 48 missing values. Email, 88. So we identify how many missing entries are present in each column. This tells us where to focus our cleaning efforts. Now step number 3, we're going to visualize missing data. And again, I want this text to be larger, so I'm going to use that as a markdown and run that code. So the first step I want to do in step number 3 is import a library. So I'm going to use Plotly. And Plotly is a data visualization tool that lets users create attractive graphs and charts. And in this part, we want to visualize missing data in our data set. So we're going to do import plotly.express as px. So make sure I spell that right. It's import plotly, P-L-O-T-L-Y, express as px. Okay, and then I want to first start off with this name. Then I'll go missing equals data dot is null open and close parentheses, dot sum, open and close parentheses, dot reset underscore index, open and close parentheses. Okay, then next we're going to do missing again, so I'm going to just copy. So I highlight this, do a Control C and a Control V, dot columns, columns, equals, then you could do an open bracket, single quotation, columns again, but with this capital C, columns, single quotation, comma, then again, single quotation, missing values, single quotation, and close that bracket. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a fig, F-I-G, equals px dot bar. So we're creating a bar chart, and I want it to show missing. Same thing as here. So make sure it's spelled correctly, otherwise you'll get an error. Comma, and then x equals single quotation columns. Same thing, same spelling there. Single quotation, comma, and then my y-axis, y equals missing values. So again, it has to be the same spelling as this. So you can just highlight all of this, do a Control V, highlight all of this, and do a Control C to copy. Click here where the y equals, and then a Control V to paste, and then comma. I'll do my title equals single quotation again, missing values per column, single quotation. So this is the name of my bar graph. That's the title. And then I'm going to use color equals, and then missing values again. So I'm going to highlight this, do a Control C and a Control V. Put that, make sure to put that in single quotations, and then comma, and then again color underscore continuous, continuous underscore scale equals single quotation sunset, single quotation. Close that parentheses. You'll see that there's an open and close parentheses that highlight. So that way you know it's closing that parentheses. Now I'll do a fig.show, open and close parentheses. Now I will go ahead and run that code. Now you will see a bar graph. So again, here's my title, missing values per column. And my x-axis is my columns, which is missing values. Y-axis, you'll see customer ID, name, age, email, country, and purchase amount. And as you can see, as I put my cursor over these bars, each one has a pop-up showing how many missing values there are. So age has missing values of 48, email has missing values of 88, country has 70 missing values, and purchase amount has 63 missing values. So this is good if you want to visualize how many missing values you have in each variable. A colorful bar chart gives a clear visual overview of missing data so we can quickly see which columns need cleaning. Now that we know which columns need cleaning, we can go to step 4, and we can drop rows with any missing values. Change that to markdown and run that. There are several ways to take care of missing values, but I'm going to show you first off how to drop any missing values. So we would use the code data, which is our data set name, underscore drop NA equals data dot drop NA, open and close parentheses. And then now we want to view this data set after we dropped those missing values. So since we called it data underscore drop NAs, we just call that again. So I'm going to highlight it, do Control C to copy on Windows, Control V to paste, and then put dot head, open and close parentheses, and run that. Now you will see any missing values in the dataset has been dropped. Now, just to let you know, dropping rows is the simplest way to deal with missing values. However, be cautious because it could remove valuable data too. Like if something that's very important that you might need for your analysis, you don't want to get rid of anything that is important for that. So make sure to use this wisely. There's another way you can handle missing values, which I will show you in step 5. And that is filling missing values with mean, mode, or custom values. And to do that, you call your data set, which is data, and then you open bracket, then you call your each variable, so single quotation age, so making sure your columns are spelled correctly. It is case sensitive, so make sure if it's with a capital A, you use capital A. So I'm using this variable here, age, close that bracket, equals, and then data, open bracket, single quotation, age again, single quotation, close that bracket, dot, fill NA, open parentheses, then data, which is our data set name, open bracket, single quotation, and our variable name again is age, single quotation, close that bracket, dot mean, open and close parentheses. And one more close parentheses to close that. So we will do the same thing for country. So data, open bracket, single quotation, country, single quotation, close that bracket. This time it's dot mode, open and close parentheses, then you open a bracket, put 0, close that bracket, and close that parentheses. Okay, again, I want to do it for the variable email, so data, open bracket, single quotation, email, single quotation, close bracket, data, open bracket, again, email, close single quotation, and then close bracket, dot, fill, F-I-L-L-N-A, open parentheses, single quotation, and unknown at example.com. Single quotation, close parentheses. Data, single quotation, purchase, amount, single quotation, close bracket, equals, data, open that bracket. Again, it's the same thing, purchase amount. So I'm going to copy this, Control C on Windows, Control V to paste, copy and paste, single quotation, close bracket, dot, fill, NA, open parentheses, data, open bracket, single quotation. Again, I was going to do a Control V to paste, single quotation, bracket, dot, MEDIAN, median, open and close parentheses, and close parentheses again. Now I will run this code, and I see that it has a closed bracket here, but not an open bracket. So that's what it's telling me. So I need to open that bracket. There we go. Now I can run that code, and it runs successfully. So this method helps us to continue to have all of our rows. So we're not deleting any rows, we're keeping them. But they are replacing any missing entries with meaningful values like average, most common values, or a custom string. This is good to use when you don't want to drop any values, which we did in step 4. Another way we could take care of missing values, which we will do in step 6, is using the forward fill and the backward fill. Now this is optional, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Again, this is optional. I'm going to use this as a markdown and play my code. So I'll start off with the note here. So this one is forward fill. So this one will copy the last known value. And it starts off with data, which is our data set name, underscore FFILL equals data.FFILL, open and close parentheses. And then next, start with the comment here again. So I'm going to do a backward fill. So this will use next available value. And it's data underscore BFILL for backward fill equals data.BFILL, open and close parentheses. So I will run that. So how it works is these are data imputation techniques. So this is used to replace missing values based on nearby existing values. So this is often used in time series or when the data has some logical order. So this forward fill right here, this means if a value is missing, fill it with the last known non-missing value above it. And the case to use this would be when previous values make sense to carry forward, like temperature readings or stock prices or even survey answers. And the backward fill, this means if a value is missing, fill it with the next known non-missing value below it. So when to use this one? When future values make more sense. So for example, if you missed a reading but you know what it should have been based on the next entry. So now we will go to step 7. We're going to confirm that there's no missing data because we already took care of them. So we dropped rows. We also took care of them by filling in missing values with mean, mode, custom values. And we also used the forward fill and backward fill. So now we want to confirm that there are no more missing values in our data set. So this will be step 7. I'm going to use this as a markdown and run that code. So now it's very simple. We're going to do data, which is our data set name, is null, open and close parentheses, dot sum. We want to know the sum, and we will run this code. So now we see that there are no more missing values in our data set. So this is always good to always check again to ensure all missing data has been addressed before further analysis. So now that we have a cleaned data set, we want to go ahead and go to step 8, where we want to save the cleaned data set. And to do that, we go calling our data set name, which is data.to_CSV, open parentheses, double quotation, and we want to name our data set. So we're going to call this cleaned underscore, and it was Disney customers, so now it's going to be the same thing but with cleaned in front of it. So cleaned underscore Disney underscore customers dot CSV, double quotation, comma, and index equals false, close parentheses. Now we will run this code. You see a number, so it ran successfully. So to find this file, it will be in your Jupyter Notebook file page when you first logged into Jupyter Notebook. So now we can do a visualization of the data set. So we will go ahead and go to step 9. Now this is optional, because this video basically was focusing on how to take care of those non-values in your data set, or null values. Now that we took care of those, we are pretty much done, but we want to go ahead and just do a visualization of the data set. So visualize the data set, and we're going to do that as a markdown, run that code. So step 9, we're going to go ahead and we need to have Seaborn. So if you don't already have Seaborn installed, you'll have to download it. So it's going to be !pip install Seaborn. So I already have this, but this is the code that you need to download Seaborn library. So in this case, I'm just going to put a number sign in front of it, because like I said, I already have it installed. So I'll run that. But if you do not have it installed, remove that number sign and only run this code here. Once you do that, then you could go ahead and import your libraries. Import Seaborn as SNS, and then import Matplotlib .pyplot as PLT. I'll run that. So now that those libraries are now installed, now I can go ahead and do a visualization. But in this case, I already have it all written out for me for this tutorial. So I'm going to do a paste in here, because this code is very lengthy to type up, but I will go over it. So optional, so we can apply a consistent visual style. So this is sns.set and then style white grid. So plot number 1, we're going to do a scatter plot. We're going to do age versus purchase amount by country. So we do a plt.fig and then the figure size. Then we use the who for color, grouping, and assigning palette properly. So it's scatter equals sns.scatterplot. Make sure you open up your parentheses, and then you put data equals data, comma. Then you set your x-axis, which is your age variable or whatever variable you want to see. Your y-axis is your purchase amount or whatever variable you want to view for your y-axis. Then your who is a country. And then your palettes, we're going to set it to set to. So palette is okay here because who is specified. And also S equals 100, comma, edge color equals double quotations black. Then you close that parentheses, and then you start with PLT, which is plot.title. You title your graph. And then your X label, I'm going to call it age. Your Y label, purchase amount. And then your legend, the title, that's country. So I'm going to go ahead and run this code. And now we have it all for purchase amount by age and by country. So here's your purchase amount on your y-axis. Your x-axis is your age. And then up here you have your color coded by country. So USA is orange. So as you can see, orange here is a 30-year-old that purchased at least $200 in the USA. $300. There's also a 33 in USA, which purchased 100, 200, and 300. So you get the point, right? So that is how to plot your clean data set. And that is it. So you've just learned how to clean missing data using different techniques in Python. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a new tutorial. I post content every week on Python, SQL, or even Excel, and more to help you grow as a data analyst. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.